If you asked me 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'm riding high. I'm doing well. I'm A-okay. Let's conquer the world.
Right.
And
A whole
then
little
if you-
skit, a whole little rhyme.
And then if you ask me like the next day after that, I might be like, woe is me. I don't know. The world sucks. What are we doing? Like, this is a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Confab experience. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Really
Good. I'm so glad. I am so glad. I say tonight because I would like to tell our viewers a little anecdote.
Mm-hmm.
So the four of us live in different parts of the country, and we have to schedule times to record this podcast. And it just so happened that one of those times was last night. And I had to get in touch with my wonderful friends and tell them, look, I can't do it. I can't do it tonight, okay? I can't. I have a headache. My head hurts. My body hurts. My soul hurts a little bit. And I don't feel like I can give my whole self to this podcast tonight. And my tribe, being as wonderful as they are, we're like, girl, we got you. We're going to reschedule. And you know what? We're going to change our whole subject matter around to talk about this very issue that so many of us are facing.
Yes.
If not everyone that we know is facing.
Speak on it.
And that is just the effect that the events of the world are having on us right now.
Right.
And what we need to do for ourselves in order to not go crazy.
Yes. 2020 is killing us.
2020, you guys. 2020. So I shared a little bit about myself and my little breakdown I had yesterday. So how are you guys doing? You know, how is quarantine affecting you? How are you managing? How are you?
If you asked me 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'm riding high. I'm doing well. I'm A-okay. Let's conquer the world.
And a whole little skit, a whole little rhyme.
And then if you ask me like the next day after that, I might be like, woe is me. I don't know. The world sucks. What are we doing? Like, this is a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster.
It has.
Yes. No, this quarantine, I agree. At first, it was like, oh, snap, I'm going to be working from home. This never happens in my line of work. I'm so here for it. And then it was like, oh, okay, so y'all don't want us to come back yet? Not yet. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Me and hubby both in the house together. And then it was like, oh, we both going to be in the house together. Oh, got it. Yeah. I mean, it really has been like up and down and like, it don't seem to be breaking.
No time soon.
No end in sight.
No time soon.
There's no end in sight.
2021, 2022, who knows? Siobhan, when you asked that question, I felt like Meghan Markle when they said, how are you doing? And she said, thank you. No one asked that question. No one asked me that question. No, I mean, any given day I can start off good and then end up crying, but get back good and then get back crying really quickly. So it's just a lot. It's a lot.
No, I mean,
it's overwhelming is my word.
Mm-hmm. Besides, I mean, so many things that happened. There was this, I wish I would have gotten it for this. There was this like Facebook post that was kind of going around viral or whatever, where it was like a diary entry. The person was writing a diary entry to themselves. Like, it's like, it's only June. It was like June. And it was like, you know, at the start of the year, this happened. And honestly, like reading through it, first of all, it was mad long. Just reading through it, I forgot half the stuff. And it was a lot. It was like, oh yeah, and Australia is on fire. Or
murder hornets. Murder.
I was like, oh, I forgot. Wait, did that stop? Is that still happening? First of all, does anybody know? What happened with the
I don't
murder hornets?
know.
What
I don't
happened
know.
I
with the
think
I
that
don't
the
fire?
know.
cicadas or something killed the murder
Oh, the
hornets. Or
locusts.
something. The locusts
The
killed the murder
locusts,
hornets.
yes. It's a lot.
There's
And
there's Black
that's
Plague happening.
Black plague.
Right.
Like, wait, like actual
Yeah.
the plague?
Yeah,
Mhm.
bubonic. Is it bubonic
The
plague?
bubonic plague?
Bubonic plague is happening.
Oh, I
On
Yeah.
thought you
top
meant a
of
plague on
cases.
Black people.
That's what I
Oh,
thought she
well,
meant.
There's that
too.
too.
There's that
There's that
too.
too.
We're calling that different though.
I mean,
Yeah.
these are the things that everybody is dealing with. And each of the four of us are also just like dealing with the things that are happening like in your personal life and our own like
Mhm.
self. It is a lot. And I think that through all of that, you have to find the thing that can kind of like pull you together. One of the things for me
Yeah.
has just been us starting this podcast. Like this is a good thing
Yeah.
that has been birthed out of the this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like taking time to just like talk with your friends. And even though we talk all the time, just like here and there, like text or Marco Polo, whatever it is. But
Does here and
like,
there mean every day?
here and there, every day, every couple,
Here, there, and
whatever.
everywhere.
Yeah. But like having the concentrated time, and especially when you're not going out and like seeing people and like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it really does like and we even like get dressed for it and
Right.
it feels
We do.
okay.
Dressing up a little bit.
Shower.
No, shout, oh,
Little
yes.
makeup, put the glasses, put the contacts in. Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah. I just think it's hard. So I was listening to Michelle Obama, who also has a podcast, we have so much in common. Yeah.
Let's see if
And yeah, and she was saying, there's this sort of low grade stress and depression
Yeah.
and to me it's almost, I kind of feel like the pandemic is, it's like one of those zombie shows where in the beginning it's like you have to fear the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Zombies are scary, and that is what your mind is on all the time. But then as seasons progress, I'm talking about The Walking Dead in particular, as seasons progress, the zombies sort of fall into this ever-present threat,
Yeah.
but it's not what the story is about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the pandemic is sort of this always constant thing you have to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's so many other things happening on top of it
Mm-hmm.
that just makes it overwhelming.
Like
and
becoming a teacher.
Sorry?
Like becoming a teacher.
Tell us
what
your
do you
home.
mean?
Right. And
you're-
like small things that wouldn't necessarily bother you. Like for me, I know, like all of a sudden they're like the biggest deal and like have me on the verge of tears. But they wouldn't otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, it takes a toll, man. It takes a toll.
No, I was just saying, like, when, like, one of the things that these little small things, well, not really a small thing, like of this pandemic is that kids are being home. And so because of that, like you're going to start, my child will be here and now I will not homeschool her because I guess technically it's virtual online schooling, but I have to sit there with her and be patient. And I mean, I'm not a teacher for a reason. I don't, as I've chimed in before, kids aren't really my forte. I don't really enjoy, I enjoy mine. I love mine. She's great. Being a mother is the most fulfilling thing in my life. But, but it
gets to you.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to be their playmate, their everything, their cook, their cleaner, their because they get frustrated too. So they get a little frustrating back. They want to play with their friends, and that's too much. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just want her to be able to read. But like, if I got a teacher, might not happen. The word is cat. It was cat at the beginning of the story, so it should be cat at the end. I don't understand. So,
yeah, I think that the hard part has been the grace that you have to give yourself, because on some level you think that you should, or you're used to operating at some level of effectiveness or efficiency, right? Like it seems like if I don't have to commute to work, then I should be able to start work earlier in theory, right? And I should be able to work later in theory. And I should be more, it just should be more productive.
Right.
Seems that should be okay.
What'd you say?
It should be how it goes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
my house should be cleaner than it is.
The house should be cleaner. My laundry should be done.
Right.
But then it's not that way. So then it's like, for me, it's like wrestling with like being okay with, or trying to figure out why it's not, or,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to survive, right? Like, there are some days, I think in the beginning of the pandemic, like I had all of these great ideas. One of my hobbies is photography. So I was like, oh yes, I started following this girl who does self-portraits. And I was like, I'm always here. So, like, I'm going to have a lot more time with me. So I might as well like try to do all of these different things. No, though. Or
baking sourdough bread.
Baking sour. Do you like, because you like to bake? Yes. Like, there are these little things that you're like, oh, I should be able to do this. They're not getting done. I started feeling a bit like a failure because, Leanna, I agree. Like, I feel like I try to operate I like being the go-to person. I like being the name in everybody's mouth. Like, oh, Stacia can do this. Stacia can do this. And I'm like, yes. Now I'm like, don't ask me for nothing else. I can't do it. Like, there's nothing else that I'm able to do.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because, like, at work, it's still okay, but it's like, I'm sorry, this is what I can give. And that has been really hard because I feel like I have to accept a level of defeat there because I just can't hit it on all cylinders the way that I used to.
And that should no longer be the expectation, right?
Yeah, people say it's not the expectation, but it is still the expectation.
Right.
It is. It shouldn't be, but it is. And then you're, what do they call it? Burning the wick at both ends. Like, you're up late at night trying to work, which you couldn't get done during the day because all of a sudden you're a babysitter. For me, I'm a babysitter. Parents out there, I don't know if you hear me. I mean, I guess, am I a babysitter if I'm a parent?
It's your own child? No.
No. I don't know if that counts.
Well,
it's not what it
refer back to my previous statement. But yes, caregiver, right?
Sure, sure. Yes, you're caring for your own child. Yeah.
Yes.
Glass of wine. Yes.
Oh no, but in all fairness, it is an adjustment. If you think that, okay, I have this child and they're going to be in school this number of hours, and that's where your mind is. So if it doesn't happen, then all of a sudden you have to readjust your entire not being, that's extreme, but just your entire schedule, your entire well, just your expectation for what life looks like is completely different, and what your energy level looks like, and what your Stacia with her nanobites of energy, you have to readjust all of that.
But I think that's the big thing about self-care, and especially figuring out self-care in this period. Like, the people at my work, the women particularly who have like put time on their calendar that says kids school, and they're like, I'm just not available. Like, I can't be available. I'm going to stop acting like I can be available. It's better for everybody around if I just am out for this however much time.
Right.
You're just transparent with everybody, and it is what it is, and everybody works around it. But I know how it feels. Like, you feel like you don't want to say that. But I have a level of respect for the women that I've seen do that.
Right.
It's important. You have to take care of you, and you have to take care of your family, but you, like, you know what I mean? You have to take the time for yourself. So is it selfish? Like, is self-care selfish? We have all these things, all these responsibilities to everybody else during this time. Is it selfish to just take time for yourself?
So I always, I don't know if live by the mantra that sounds a little strong, but I always think about whenever you're on an airplane and they talk about the oxygen masks that come down, and they always say, make sure that your mask is secure before you help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be any good to anybody else. If you're passed out, then you can't help anybody else. So you have to kind of fill your cup, if you will, before you can provide any sort of relief or comfort to anyone. I mean, if you're frazzled and crazy, then that's just going to rub off on the people around you. So no, I don't think it's selfish.
But in a time sorry, Siobhan, but in a time like now, where you can't go out the house very far, the things that you used to do, you can't do because everybody's holed up in the house. How do you even like take time for yourself inside your house? Because that's my struggle. I don't believe self-care is selfish, but I just don't know how to care for myself when I can't get away.
I know my mom, I wonder if she remembers. Of course, she probably does. But when she used to come home from work, she would come home from work right after we got home from school. So let's say like 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And she would say like, and then as soon as she comes in, it's 4 of us. Ma, Dion didn't do this. Da 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 da. KJ's in the, you know, like we're hitting her with everything. And she would, I need an hour. And she would take an hour in her room. We'd be sitting out like, all right, let's finish for her to, you know, get her hour together. And I don't know, I think she taped like the stories or something. So like she take that hour, watch all my children. And then she came out and she was perfectly like, okay, now what happened? Like she was in her room, like you sit down out here. And I don't know if she felt bad about it or not, you know, but it was important for her. Take that time. You sit out here and watch TV until I come back. And I'm fine. You're all right.
I think it's also really important to ask for help, which we as women don't tend to do a lot of the time.
Right.
The woman who was the guest on Michelle Obama's podcast, whose name escapes me right now, she said, you know, we have to be careful because we fall into this sort of strong woman, you know, stereotype where we feel like we have to take everything on.
Stacey just said she wants to be the go-to person, right?
Exactly.
We all do that in some way.
Yeah. So, you know, I think we have to make sure that, well, we're checking in with each other. So are you guys okay? And then, you know, what do you need? And when someone asks you what you need, you have to be able to tell them. Like last night, I needed you guys to understand that it was not happening.
Right.
Because, and I think we have some sort of like, we feel like we just have to, you know, like, oh, anyone can throw anything at me and I'm fine because I'm a strong woman and that's just, you know, what we do. That's what we do.
Right.
But I think you can get burned out really, really fast. And you also have to know yourself well enough to be able to gauge your breaking point and know how your stress manifests itself within you. You know, do you have like a particular muscle that gets tight? Do you find yourself eating cheese at 10:30 at night? You know, have like heart palpitations. In my case, is all 3 true? You know, and then know what it is that you need to sort of self-soothe from that point too.
Right.
Leanna asked us the other day when we had a little video call. She was like, where's your stress, your anxiety level? Right? Like do a little check-in.
Yeah.
And one of us said one thing and then started kind of talking it through and was like, you know, wait, I think it's higher.
Yeah.
It was me, guys. It was me. It's okay. I appreciate, Monique, your attempt to keep it, you know, anonymous, but it was me. I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm a 6. And I was like, I'm like an 8.5.
Because I think that is part of it is what you said, which is the whole like being self-aware enough to even realize that you're stressed out, that you have to do something in order to manage the stress.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard. I know for me, I'll tell it myself. Like I don't talk about my feelings. I'm not great at sharing. So I just have to consciously be like, okay, she's asking what I'm feeling. I can say what I'm feeling. And she's my friend and it's okay. They're not going to judge me because I'm like acting like a psycho, you know?
Right.
No, we can't have that kind of judgment because then, you know, on my side, you guys would always think I'm a psycho. I'm like, no, this is how I feel right this minute. And it's so overwhelming. And I actually think I love that low grade like depression and low grade what was the other piece of it?
Stress, like just
low grade stress and low grade. Yes, I think that's exactly right. Like I've been depressed before. This isn't it. But this it shows signs of what it could
But
be.
This is something.
It's something.
Yeah.
Because it's so long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so long. Like this was March and literally there's like not an end in sight.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it would be one thing if you could say on X date, this is going to be over. Then you tell yourself, okay, I can make it to that date.
Yeah.
But when you're just like, oh, you're not coming back into the office until sometime in 2021?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, or even just
go
like
to the gym, you can't. Yeah.
No, or even just like us, like the four of us, we're like, when will we see each other again? Like, we see each other on, line and whatever, but we do try to schedule a trip in sometimes.
So there was an article about that even as well, all these like everybody's doing these Zoom calls, and I have to say, like, I love the fact like how society has been able to like maneuver and like readjust, and my family did like a virtual escape room, which was a lot of fun.
Oh,
it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
We didn't get out in time. But like, I forgot what I was gonna say.
How society has adjusted.
And there was an article.
Yes.
Zoom calls.
There was an article with even the Zoom calls like can stress you out. So when you have it on grid view, when you can see everybody in the meeting, start trying to focus on every reaction that everybody is having, right? Like you're like trying to look at everybody and say, oh, did they find that funny? Like, what are they thinking, And normally when you're in like a conference room or whatever it is, in a room with people, you kind of in your periphery block out, everybody else, and you kind of just focus on one person.
Right.
But if you're not doing that, then all of a sudden your brain has to process all this extra information, which in and of itself is exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like there's all these different things that are like exhausting you, and you're trying to adjust to this world and connect with people, but
it's another thing where I feel like I shouldn't be as tired as I am. Like, why am I so tired? Now, true enough, I do a lot. Even though I'm home, I'm still like busy with a lot of different things, but I still feel like, but I'm home. Like, it shouldn't be this tiresome working or, whatever I'm doing. I just feel like I didn't think I'd be so exhausted being home all the time. Like, that was.
But you have like 5,000 balls in the air, Monique.
Yeah,
you're like.
No, I mean, I've said to you before, like, I don't even know. I am so like singular in thought that I can do the thing in front of me, but I can't do like several different things. And so I applaud you because you definitely have a lot of balls in the air. I would be like, something will drop. Huh?
I try to stay busy, but I also try not to be too hard on myself. Like if I can't get something done, there are some things that I have to. I can't not do this. But the things that are not top on that list, I will say, I'm not doing that. I can't do it.
Yeah. I think that's important too, because I'll tell on myself again. Amongst the four of us, there was an idea that we're going to do these workouts every day, we're going to do it together. We're going to be accountable and solidarity. We're all going to do these workouts. Folks, I did it twice. And I was like, you know what? I'm not. And my friends are wonderful. They're like, I mean, I support you, but can you just tell me why you don't do it? And I had to, in my mind, be like, you know what? I did not enjoy working out at home 6 months ago, 2 years ago. I've never enjoyed working out at home. I hate it. I've always wanted to go out to a gym. I've always wanted to take a class too. Like group classes. Like that's the way that I like to exercise. And I felt really really guilty. So what I have to forgive myself for is, or at least understand, is that I can't be mad at myself because I still don't like to do something that I didn't like to do before.
Right. Like this wasn't your judge before. And so like, now you're trying to make it your judge, but you already know. So why am I trying to act like this is something?
Right. So there was a guilt there, like, oh, I probably should really be doing this because clearly there's nowhere to go to work out right now. But I can't, it just doesn't, I have to be fair enough to myself to say, you didn't like it before. That's something all of a sudden, in quarantine, I'm going to start eating beets because it's good for me. I didn't like beets before, so why would I start eating them now?
Because they're delicious, but I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. No, you're right.
Yeah. So what are things that we do for self-care? Okay. We've talked the problem out, right? Mm-hmm. But what are things that we do, just to keep yourself together?
So I've got into doing my nails, like on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Do you do them yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing them myself.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Because I can never get the other hand, right?
Yeah, don't look too closely.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
Whoa. What did I do?
Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
I mentioned this to you guys, but
HBO Max.
Yesterday fell down a rabbit hole on YouTube watching people react to hearing really great music for the first time. So there's a whole hundreds of videos of people listening to Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time.
I love it.
And I was raised on old music. I feel like I know every song ever put on the radio between 1955 and 1975. So just like the back of my mom's Mercury Sable, that's just what I was listening to for the first 15 years of my life. So I don't remember the first time I heard Bohemian Rhapsody. I've just always known it. And it blows my mind that people in 2020 have never heard the song before. But it's an amazing song, right? Clearly one of the best songs ever written. And so I get to have this experience with these people as they're listening to it for the first time. And since I don't remember the first time I heard it, I sort of get to, participate in that. And when I tell you that it brought me such joy and happiness to watch people's faces as they're listening to it. And every single time, and literally I watched like 15 videos in a row. And every time, like, I got goosebumps and like I got like emotional every time someone, like, you could watch someone's face just like light up with how great the song was.
Right.
And I probably stayed up way too late doing that, but it was such a like soothing thing for my soul.
Yeah.
It was such a small thing, but I really, and then I moved on to the Pentatonics version of Hallelujah.
Never heard of Pentatonics. Like, you gotta wait. It looks like you guys have. Oh, okay.
Like
Somebody send me a link.
Have you guys heard of Pentatonics?
Yeah.
Have you heard them? Like, have you heard the songs that they sing?
Yes.
Okay. No. Stacia, we're gonna have to do a reaction video with you because I mean it's amazing.
They are so amazing. Yeah.
Like it makes me cry. And
I feel like I'm gonna watch one tonight. Yeah.
I've been really taking time to like listen to music, which is something that when I'm in a car, either a lot of the times me and my husband in the car together, so we're talking, even if music is on, and not really paying attention to it. But now that I'm in the house, I can put my, earphones on and really like get into some music, which is something I feel like I hadn't done in a long time. So that's just like a little thing. But, just a little time for yourself, whatever that means, just a little bit of time.
It can be little. Like, as long as it makes you feel like joyful. And it can be as small as, whatever.
How about you, Leanna?
She does
her nails. Said your nails. Oh, it's me. Yeah. I'm still struggling on this one, guys. Like, a good day is I wake up and I'm hitting the cylinders. I made breakfast. I'm like, if I could check off the checklist, I've taken a shower. I'm just trying to hit the many things. Like I haven't found the point of self-care for myself during COVID. Occasionally I did start watching Glee, and that was bringing me a lot of joy, like to rewatch Glee. And then that girl died, Naya Rivera, and then it took the joy that I was watching that show. So I'm trying to do it with Scandal, but
I think it's funny. It's interesting because after I do something, I realize that I needed it. So like after I did the like connected with some girlfriends and just caught up.
Yeah.
Even though, like afterwards, I'm like, oh, that filled me up.
Yeah,
like that felt good. Or even like the plank
that I don't do
for 30 seconds. It's like,
right.
Oh, I can. Oh, yeah, that's right. Like my body can do this.
Right.
Which feels good.
Exercise is a real thing. Like that, the dopamine, like even though like sometimes it's kicking and screaming, getting to doing it, right?
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I do feel strong and confident, sexy, and like, oh, like I'm with it.
Right.
Also, you said something about a plank, right? I remember Cher won some award, Lifetime Award. And in her speech, she was like, and I don't know, 60, 70, I don't know, however old she was. She was like, and I can do a 5-minute plank. That has not left my head. Cause I'm like, I'm at 35. Well, I can probably get up to about a minute, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking and sweating. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm shaking at like 10 seconds. Like, let's be honest.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, I got to get to 5 minutes. Like she has been I've got to get to a 5-minute plank. I've gotten as far as a minute and a half.
That's dope.
That's good.
Yeah. That's really dope.
I cannot at this very moment do a minute and a half. But I'm saying like in the last year, I have gotten to a minute. No, we've been quarantined for 6 months. Okay, in the last year and a half. Time is just a social construct, right? Like
It's funny.
Means nothing.
But it's okay because you're still working towards it, and we take the small victories these days.
Yes, that's good.
Stacia, we got to help you out. We got to figure out what you need.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I need won't come anytime soon. I mean, honestly, I think it's just even realizing that I'm a social person. So I like to be around people. Not being around people is a lot. So yeah, it'll like you know how they say like it just, I know that it won't last for a very long period of time. This is longer than expected, but this is, you look at something, this will look like it will be like a blink of an eye. I'm just ready to like go to the grocery store by myself again without feeling panic about going there.
Well, you know what, Stace, you specifically have to also just be like, it has to become a thing that you're thinking about, like self-care. And I think you're so, having to deal with everything else that you just kind of not thinking about it.
Right.
You have to be intentional.
Yeah.
So those little bit of times, those few moments that you do have by yourself.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, the kid is asleep or the kid is, with, whoever.
Right.
I can, take care of this thing I meant to do or finish this project I was working on or whatever. Like take them, like, you know what, I'm going to, I don't know, whatever it is that you would find joy in, take a bubble bath or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Instead of getting that thing done. I mean, that's for everybody. Like,
yeah.
Those things will get done or they won't, and it'll be fine.
And no one will die.
It's becoming good with that. And Leanna and you have been really helpful on that. Like maybe just not attend that. Maybe just not
say no. Learn to say no.
And just feeling okay and not feeling like there needs to be an excuse that's offered up.
I think pre-COVID, the thing that I was getting very, very comfortable with is like, I don't have to be the one that cleans my house. Like as long as I set that up and have a life hack for that, Like I'm no longer going to be feeling some kind of way about outsourcing that. Like I'm just not.
I am not here for laundry. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys know I do not do the laundry, and I'm fine.
So never ending laundry.
It's never ending.
It's never ending.
I don't do the laundry. And in fact, now I don't even take it. He takes it. So it's like as far away from that.
I consider that life hack, self-care.
Absolutely.
I do enough stuff. Who cares if I don't do my own laundry?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm stimulating the local economy.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, self-care is, for me, at least personally, less, like facials and hot stone massages and more, what can I take off my own plate for my own sanity?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want a facial.
I mean, hot stone massage.
I can't wait to get back to that life.
You can give yourself your own facial. Well, and one thing about the pandemic is that everyone is going through it.
Mm-hmm.
So now is actually the best time to be like, no, I can't. There's too much happening. Like I'm too stressed. And I feel like it's something that everybody can identify with. So even those people where it looks like they're getting everything done, they're stressed too. I don't know anyone right now who's like, this pandemic has been great. I love quarantine. It's fantastic. I'm out here living my best life. I mean, maybe there are those people, listeners, if you're one of those people, let us know. But I've not personally met anyone like that. It is affecting everybody I know in some way, shape,
and honestly, there are some things that have come out of quarantine for me that has been good. Like in this time, and most people probably have like something like that. Like we were able to take care of projects in the house that we were like nowhere near, ready to take on. But like, we're here, so what? Let's do it. I've had so much time with my family that I have never had before. I probably will never have again in my adult life, right? And that's been cool.
Yeah.
But also I'm ready to go outside again.
Right.
I too am a social person, so that alone is a lot. So what's our takeaway for our listeners?
Small victories, they count. They do count.
I didn't cry today.
And that is enough. Yes.
Brew some coffee and turn on Netflix.
Just do what you can.
Everybody is surviving right now. Everyone's just surviving right now.
Just survive.
You're not alone.
Continue the experience on our social media handles at the Confab Experience.